Hey guys, Jik here, and I'm back in Fluffy. It's been a long time since you guys actually seen the Fluffy Jik on the channel, and you know what? I'm getting right back into it. I was busy with some of my IRL stuff, so but we're back, and we're right back at it. And oh man, do I have a treat for you guys today? Come check this out, okay? You guys ready? All right. So as some of you guys would know, if you were like a normal watcher of the channel, I read the comments like every day. I go through them, I read them, I sometimes reply to them, but I go through my comments every single day. And as I was scrolling through my comments and stuff like that, I came across a really interesting one. I came across this one by Mr. Liam Bradley here. And they say this. Yeah, I'm a cisgender straight male wanting to become a cuddly furry myself. I have nothing against LGBT people, but the majority of furries being gay and such is, and please try to remain calm, something I cannot get used to, and I'm going to try to explain why. Okay, so this guy is going to try to explain why the furries are too gay. Now, normally this would have just been like a one-off comment, and I would have just like made a small reply to it, and you know, been said and done. But check this out. Check this out. You ready for this? Boom. Just boom. Like, holy crap. It's huge. It's huge. So, we're going to go through it. I'm going to read this thing out and we're going to talk about it. But before I do, okay, guys, chill, okay? This is probably somebody who's quite young, just getting into the fandoms of that. Let's just chill, let's read what he has to say, and we'll dissect it and go from there. Alright, we're back. Okay, so I couldn't zoom into it the way I wanted to, so I just copied it, and I pasted it into a Word document. But now I can actually see it, and I want to preface this. I have not read this yet. I read the top line, I copied it, I pasted it. I have not read this yet, so I have no idea what we're about to get into, but let's dive into it, and we're gonna start off right at the top. From this little guy. Yeah, I am a cisgender straight male wanting to become a cuddly furry myself. Okay, so right off the start, they're introducing themselves with a defensive position. They want to let everybody know their position in life, so that the people reading this will understand or make assumptions about him on where he is coming from. Okay, fair enough, which means if he's talking about his cisgender, straight sexuality, stuff that means probably the entire context of his paragraph is going to be surrounding gender identity and sexuality. Fair enough. Man, we're only one sentence in, I've probably talked so much about this. I have nothing about LGBT people, but, okay, so, oh man, that is the thing in English language. It's like, oh my god, you know, you're so beautiful, but you're a bitch. Like, it's kind of like the backhanded compliment of life. It's like, I'm going to say something as like an umbrella defense before I say something that's probably offensive. And I know it's probably offensive, therefore I'm going to put a defense behind it so that I get less backlash. Okay. But the majority of furries being gay and such is something I can't get used to, and I'm going to explain why. Okay, so you are coming in to an area that you are a newcomer to. It's not you that has to get used to it. It's you choosing to join something that you resonate with. Okay, so before we even jump into the down below, yes, buddy, the majority of the furry fandom is not heterosexual. In fact, most people that have heterosexual relationships in the fandom, they started their heterosexual relationship outside the fandom and then brought it into it. There's few but far between cases where heterosexual relationships begin in the fandom, but the majority of the fandom revolves around bisexuality, heterosexuality, gender diversity, basically not the standard, outside of the fandom, like heteronormative lifestyle, stuff like that. And honestly, you coming in as being a heteronormative kind of person, chill. Super chill. Like, it's all good. Just because there's outliers doesn't mean that they're not cool. But we're gonna go into why you don't think that the entire fandom being fuzzy is not super like good. So let's go into it. Crap. You know how something that doesn't make sense can be confusing? Typically things that don't make sense to somebody is confusing to that person, okay? I can go with that, and can cause you to lose interest and or steer clear from it. Something causing you confusion causes you to lose interest and to steer clear from it. I believe that's more defensive than actually causational. I believe that if you don't understand something and you do like go away from that, it's basically you labeling it as like, oh, I don't understand it, that's weird, I'm moving away from it. Less that you're actually losing interest and more of like it's a defensive response, but we'll jump into that. E.g. bad movies like Norman the North, Sims 4, which can have a dumb Sims and was a downgrade from previous Sim games. I don't know how this relates, but okay, let's go. We do have the LGBT community in this big old world we live in. Yes, that is true. And I don't mind seeing these kinds of people when they appear. We'll see about that, because you're having problems with them appearing in the furry fandom. There is also the furry communities, aka people who are big fans of anthropomorphic animals. Yes, the furry community is basically hobbyists that enjoy the anthropomorphic art style. Yes, that's true. The LGBT community is already highly accepting, making people... Wait, maybe I lost my track. Big fans of anthropomorphic. Okay, so we jumped ideas. We went from what a furry community is, now we're jumping to LGBT. The LGBT community is already highly accepting, generally, yeah, and making people being proud of who they are and who they love. The furry fandom on their other paw does that too. Okay, so we got two things that are highly accepting and stuff like that. I'm wondering if he knows that like a lot of furries express and come to like learn about their sexualities through projecting onto like these anthropomorphic characters and the fantasies that allow them to actually express themselves before they're comfortable with expressing themselves in real life. According to For Science, furries are more likely to be gay, trans, etc. than non-furries. Yes, but it's kind of different. Like you are more likely to probably be a furry if you are gay, trans, etc., because furry allows you to express yourself as gay, trans, and all those kinds of things before normal reality will allow you to. So like, for example, a furry can draw themselves like doing like having a gay like romantic relationship before they're allowed to do a gay romantic relationship due to constraints of their real life around them, family, friends, etc., etc. They can start expressing them, start learning themselves about that kind of stuff. It happened in anime kind of fandoms as well, and many different types of fandoms, that you're able to express parts of yourself before you're actually allowed to express them in reality. But however, okay, here's his big but. However, can most people and groups already accept others for that kind of specialness? It's like, hey, welcome to our world where we're totally respect you for being unique like all of us. Now take these interests in the new animal you and our sexy animal us and stick with them. And stay this way? Wait, I don't understand what he's saying. How can most LGBT people be liking these kinds of animals? It's like forcing them to be seen as beasts and not humans, making every Star Wars fan sci-fi a robot. The fandom could be split into two different ones, but no, it is what it currently is. Imagine all those gay, trans, bi, etc. people who are just your average normal human getting outnumbered by all those walking, talking, wooing animals. That would be just too darn weird for them and me. Okay, I think what he's trying to like drive at is that he's a straight fur, and he feels weird that he's the outlier right now. He probably doesn't in his normal life see himself as an outlier, or see himself as like not the standard thing, and now that he's feeling that for the first time, he's rejecting it. Interesting. Well then, I would say this to you, buddy, so that you're coming into their home. They've had this fandom for a long period of time, and this fandom has been built around those ideas of it, like LGBT, stuff like that. So you as a straight fur, and hey, buddy, guess what? I would thought I was pretty straight to start with. I'm still like hetero, flexible, stuff like that. But TLDR, you're coming into their home. And you have the ability to walk out and do it whatever you want. Now, I think I feel your frustration that you want to be a furry and you are like, man, I'm the straight fur, and you're feeling like a little bit ostracized because everybody else around you is like fluffy and doing the gay stuff. And honestly, I'm trying to think of advice for you, because this is more of like your internal insecurity, because I think you feel like you don't want to be imprinted by all your friends and stuff like that as gay because you're a furry, and that being imprinted as gay for you would be bad for your reputation, bad for your image. But we'll go on. But I think that's what I'm feeling from you, that you are becoming a furry and you are straight and you are not the majority, and you feel that other people will see you as gay, and that would hurt some sense of your ego. People with the rainbow flag are scattered equally throughout the earth. Not necessarily. No, definitely not. North America and Europe is kind of like an outlier. Scattered equally throughout the earth is a weird way to put it, and I don't think you have any statistics or science to back that up. I think you're generalizing. No matter where you look at Egypt. That you will be killed and stoned if you're found to have any sort of stuff like that, and their populations of having that therefore is significantly either reduced or subverted, stuff like that. Yeah, I think you're completely off in statistics that way. Besides, we already have a community in which these special people can easily join and be truly accepted. Buddy, you're saying special people. They're not special people. They're people. Okay? You're not special. They're not special. You're both people. The fact that you see them as special is what's causing you this conflict, because you're coming in and I don't think you want to be identified as special. Okay? No need to quit your other communities or fandoms on On the downside, there are many instances of LGBT discrimination. Yes, there is. Being disrespected by their families, conversion therapy, being prison executed in some countries, etc. Okay, so you're aware of the LGBT space and their histories of that. But even though you have this awareness, you have this differentiation between yourself and actually interacting with them. I find that to be a terrible thing. And being gay and such has to do with genetics you were born with, and it's nature's way of keeping animals, not just humans, from overpopulating. Okay, so you're definitely a teenager. For sure. Okay, so that is a very, that is a way for somebody that is straight to accept that gays exist in a documentation that, hey, they're just going to kill themselves because they can't reproduce. Therefore, we should accept them temporarily until they all die. That is the way that you're presenting it. I know it's probably not your original thought, but that is how a group of heterosexual kind of people could see the gay population and be like, hey, okay, well, if they're just controlling their own populations, eventually they'll die. That's kind of where that doctrine comes from, buddy. China and India disapprove of same-sex marriage, which is why they're the most overpopulated countries. That is not the case. Okay, China and India's population control has nothing to do with homosexuality, buddy. There's lots of there's so much political and economical factors that we'd have to go into to explain why China and India have really high populations. But I can tell you it's not because of the gays. I can tell you that. Take it from me, university level education, not the case. It's been quite a puzzle to assemble since June when the companies were using stuff like rainbows to rack up cash from LGBT, and I'm here but I'm here now with this inspiring speech. I've not seen anything inspiring about this whatsoever so far, buddy. What's your big haymaker? Oh, you have a one-sentence haymaker. Okay. The moral story: LGBT furries are great, but a lot more straight ones needs to rise and shine. Why do they need to rise and shine? I think that for you, they need to rise and shine because you feel insecure with your own identity of being just a heterosexual furry, which you can be that, and other people will be their things, I think you feel like your world is impacted by somebody else's existence. And that typically is a stage of mental development that's around like the teenage to early 20s, where you still believe that, and you have to either grow out of it or you don't, that your world is directly affected by the lives of others, and your own self-worth is impacted by the lives of others. I truly believe that you can, if you read this back and you think about this, I think you can grow from this. But buddy, they're the not ones that need to change, buddy. You're the one that needs to change. Because long story short, you're kind of just projecting your own insecurities, and it's easier for you to say that they're wrong than to think about your own insecurities and why you feel this way. You're feeling for the first time like this attack on your ego, and you need to internalize that and figure out why. Okay? Other than that, I wish you the best, buddy. Honestly, this wasn't as much of a hateful post as I thought it was going to be. This is more just a young man just trying to figure themselves out in the world. I wish you the best. All right, with all that being said, I hope to see you guys next time. All right, bye.